In every generation, there comes a moment when one voice rises from the shadows, one voice that refuses to be broken, even when the world tries to silence it. This is the story of a young warrior whose courage was greater than exile, whose hope was stronger than chains, and whose spirit refused to bow to injustice. Inspired by the unshakable resilience of Nelson Mandela, this tale will take you into the heart of struggle, sacrifice, and ultimate triumph. It's a journey that reminds us that true strength is not in never falling, but in rising every single time life knocks us down. It is a reminder that even when the world casts you out, destiny can still call you forward. So sit back, open your heart, and prepare to be inspired, because what you're about to hear is more than just a story. It is a testament to the power of perseverance, the courage to endure, and the unstoppable rise of a warrior shaped by exile and destined for greatness. In a land once known for its harmony, a young warrior named Kamanu was born beneath the shadow of the Great Iron Mountains. His people, the Omala, had always believed that true strength was not in the sword a man carried, but in the conviction he held within. From childhood, Kamanu showed a spirit that burned brighter than the dawn. His questions were bold, his heart was fearless, and his sense of justice was unshakable. But the kingdom he lived in was changing. A greedy council, hungry for power, seized control and began to divide the land. They created laws that separated families, humiliated tribes, and stripped dignity from anyone who dared to speak against them. The Omala people became targets, not because they were weak, but because they carried a reputation for challenging oppression through wisdom instead of war. Kamanu watched his people suffer, watched the elders silenced, watched the young forced into labor, watched the proud spirit of the Omala buried under the weight of new tyranny. He could not remain silent. He began gathering the youth, teaching them courage, unity, and the old principles of standing firm without hatred. His voice grew, his influence spread, and the council feared him. One night, under a cloak of darkness, the council guards stormed the Omala settlement. They dragged Kamanu from his home and accused him of treason, of daring to inspire his people to hope. Without trial, they sentenced him to exile on the faraway Red Isle, a barren land surrounded by brutal waters and guarded by merciless soldiers. Exile, to many, was as good as a death sentence. As the ship carried Kamanu across the raging sea, he stared back at the disappearing horizon of his homeland. His wrists were chained, but his spirit was not. He whispered to himself, "You can imprison a man's body, but never his vision." On the Red Isle, the days were long and punishing. Warriors in exile were forced to crush stones from dawn to dusk, their hands bruised and bloodied. The sun beat upon them without mercy, and the wind carried the weight of despair. Many broke. Many surrendered. Many forgot who they were. But Kamanu refused. Instead of letting despair swallow him, he began to rise before sunrise, meditating on the meaning of strength. He refused to let hatred enter his heart. He befriended the other exiled warriors, listening to their stories, encouraging them, reminding them that a man is not defined by where he stands, but by what he stands for. Slowly, the other warriors began to gather around him. Even in exile, Kamanu taught unity. Even in chains, he taught hope. Even in suffering, he taught forgiveness. And just like fire spreads from a single spark, courage began to awaken on the Red Isle. The guards noticed. The council heard rumors. They could not understand how a man isolated, punished, and forgotten could become more influential than ever. Years passed, long, harsh years that shaped Kamanu into something greater than a warrior. They shaped him into a leader. One evening, after 18 years in exile, a terrible storm tore through the kingdom. The council, weakened by civil unrest and their own corruption, struggled to maintain control. The people, desperate for unity, began to chant the name of Kamanu, the warrior who once stood for justice. The council had no choice. They sent a ship to the Red Isle, demanding that Kamanu return not as a prisoner, but as a negotiator to bring peace. When Kamanu stepped off the ship, thin but unbroken, the people began to gather. Word spread swiftly, "The warrior has returned." Men and women rushed from every corner of the kingdom to catch a glimpse of him. Some expected him to be filled with anger. Others expected him to seek revenge. But Kamanu stood before them with calm eyes and a heart free from bitterness. He addressed the crowd, his voice steady, "My brothers, my sisters, I did not return to fight those who oppressed us. I returned to unite us. I returned because no exile can erase the truth that this land belongs to all of us. It is time to rise, not with weapons, but with wisdom. It is time to heal, not to hate. It is time to build the future we deserve." The kingdom trembled not from fear, but from awakening. Kamanu negotiated the release of oppressed tribes, demanded fair laws, and insisted on reconciliation. Surprisingly, the very council that once sent him away now bowed their heads in shame. One by one, the unjust laws were dismantled. Villages were restored. Rights were returned. And the kingdom finally began to breathe again. In time, the people chose Kamanu as their leader. Not because he sought power, but because he had demonstrated the rarest kind of strength, the strength of forgiveness, patience, and unyielding hope. He ruled with humility. He encouraged unity among tribes that once clashed. He built schools, renewed traditions, and taught generations that the greatest warrior is the one who conquers himself. And whenever people asked how he endured exile without breaking, Kamanu would smile and say, "It was exile that forged me. It was suffering that purified my purpose. They took me away to silence me, yet silence taught me to speak with greater clarity. They locked me away to weaken me, yet isolation strengthened my resolve." Remember this: life may push you into darkness, but it is your choice to become either a prisoner of that darkness or the light that rises from it. Kamanu lived as a symbol of strength, proving that greatness is not shaped by comfort, but by trials. His name became a legend, a reminder that a young warrior rising from exile can return not with vengeance, but with a vision powerful enough to change a nation. And today, his story continues to echo across generations. Asterisk: you may fall. You may be broken. You may be cast aside. But if you hold on to your purpose, if you nurture hope, if you choose courage over fear, then no exile can stop the destiny waiting for you. As you listen to this story, let it remind you of your own battles. Your setbacks are not endings, they are preparation. Your suffering is not a defeat, it is shaping your strength. Your delay is not denial, it is building your destiny. If a young warrior in exile can rise and transform an entire kingdom, then you too can rise above every challenge in your life. And if this story has inspired you, touched you, or awakened something powerful within you, then I encourage you, always like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can keep receiving more stories that strengthen the spirit and ignite the soul. Your rise begins now.